I just want to say that this video is not encouraging anybody to, I'm not trying to encourage anybody to meditate or encourage anyone to lucid dream or anything like that. I think that if somebody wants to try the tips that I'm suggesting, you're trying them at your own risk. I don't know what is in your mind, how your unconscious mind expresses itself. I don't know if you have, if you have nightmares, if you have trauma. I don't know. I'm just sharing tips that I use that work for me. If you're an adult, then I'm assuming that you can be a judge for yourself on what it is that you choose to do when you sleep. I find it interesting and I like to hear about other people's experiences. Another thing is if you have tips that you want to share and things that work for you, I'd like to hear them. The purpose of this video is just to share and to possibly hear from others that lucid dream. In no way am I responsible for you having nightmares or having a bad experience or anything like that. So I would not suggest anybody try any of these things. I'm just kind of sharing. I think it's just interesting to just share and hear about different experiences. So I just want to be really clear on that. Some things that I do to help cause lucid dreams. And there are practices that enhance lucid dreams that make lucid dreams happen more frequently. It's not like absolutely like, let me make an appointment for Wednesday night to have a lucid dream. I'm sure there are people that can do that. I actually do think I know some people that can do that. One thing that is huge and that I feel is strongly connected to lucid dreaming is meditation. There are different ways to meditate. Just the ones that I talk about in practice are breathing exercises, and then also just like body asleep, mind awake. And that's where your body is basically falls asleep, but your mind stays awake. So in meditation, what a person does is you start experiencing your unconscious mind in a different way because your body is it's mimicking sleep. But you're still awake. So there's a couple ways to do that. There's different like styles and different practices for that. I think what starts to happen is during sleep, the body will sometimes, like what'll happen with me is I will find myself meditating while I'm asleep. And I'll sometimes almost kind of wake up a little bit and realize, oh, I was meditating, but I was asleep. Like I was actually asleep. I'm practicing being in a sleeping state where my body is in a sleeping state, but my mind is awake. So when I fall asleep, sometimes I'll switch over where my body is still asleep, but my mind becomes aware. And so what happens is I become lucid. And so I start to become an observer of my dream. And I'm observing, or maybe I'm going to go do something in the dream or whatever. So they are connected. Meditation and dreaming are connected. They're related to each other. And I believe that meditation can, and at least for me, has caused lucid dreaming. What I'm describing here with the body being asleep and the mind being awake, I'm not referring to sleep paralysis. That's when a person wakes up and they can feel their body and their body is still in paralysis and they're trying to wake up, and they describe it as feeling trapped, or I guess trying to wake up and trying to move their body and they're unable to. I'm not describing that. It's not what this is. What I'm talking about when the body is asleep and the mind is awake is there's actually a disconnection that occurs from, the soul and the body. It's something that happens when a person falls asleep. Part of their soul is actually leaves, and then the body is there. And so when a person becomes aware, they're actually, that awareness, that lucidity occurs separate from the body. When I become lucid, it's in the stage of when part of the soul, because a portion of the soul leaves at night, there's enough in the body to keep it alive as the soul goes elsewhere and recharges and does different things. Lucidity occurs during that. So when I become lucid in a dream, I do not feel my body at all. And if I'm touching my hand or my arm in a dream, it's not my actual hand and arm. like of my actual physical body. It's not sleep paralysis. Like when I become lucid, for example, I know that my body is, safe in bed, asleep. I do not detect it when I'm lucid. It's just not detected. So it's a different experience. And I do have a body in lucidity, but it's a spirit body. So, so I just want to be clear. It's not a sensation of my mind is awake and my body is asleep and I can't move my body. With meditation, my body is being placed in a still state. So if I wanted to move it, I could, but I'm not doing so because I'm meditating. I'm not doing so because I want my mind to think that my body is asleep so that it starts, so that I'm able to observe it and it can start doing what it does during sleep. So I'm looking at some of the footage and I just want to make sure that I make that distinction. Another thing that for me causes lucid dreaming is, so I'm not talking about reoccurring dreams where it's the exact same dream, but I'm talking about places that I find myself with some frequency in the dream state. For example, I find myself at the home that I grew up in. I find myself there in the dream world. What I do is when I'm awake, I tell myself, okay, when I find myself at that house, I'm asleep, and I visualize my childhood home, visualize dreams that I've had of it. I can visualize times that, the home itself. And then I tell myself when I'm there and I'm holding that visual, that feeling, and those types of dreams, I get into that feeling. Because there's kind of a veil there where you cross over when you start thinking about dreams, the way you can see it in your mind. And I just tell myself when I'm there, when I find myself here, and I tell myself I am asleep because I'm not going to be there anytime soon in the waking world. If I find myself there, I am asleep. And then what'll happen is I do that, I'll do that several times because it's a dream that will happen, with some frequency. It'll happen. I will end up in front of my home or inside of it or whatever. And then I am more likely to tell myself, hey, if I'm here, there's something about me being here in the dream. And I'll say, oh, I'm dreaming. And then I become aware that I'm dreaming. I stay calm. And then I have whatever it is that I plan to do when I become lucid. So